270569. Millennium 41. I'm Lieutenant Zor, Commanding Officer of Sector 5.
Well, this bad-sounding take definitely needs some ADR. Nuendo has its own fully integrated ADR system, which can be activated in the Markers window. It has all the features and functions on board you would expect from a professional ADR system. You can define source tracks for guide, music and effects and mic signal, set up pre-roll and post-roll times, pre-configure the recording target tracks, and set up an audio file naming scheme based on the additional marker info. In the Video tab, you can configure video overlays, like a swipe or counter for pre-roll, to show the dialog if provided in the corresponding marker, activate the take length and ADR status indicator, and set up a secondary swipe with independent pre-roll. A really powerful part of Nuendo's integrated ADR system is the signal switchboard. Here you can painstakingly set up what to hear while in rehearse, record or review. This can further be divided in pre-roll, take and post-roll. There are separate switchboards for each the control room and up to 4 queues. The ADR and Marker window offers extended functionality. Foldable sections provide an overall better overview. To the top, you'll find the settings with the display attributes and sync options. Unfolding the section below the marker list unveils Nuendo's marker editor that makes creating and editing marker attributes like dialog a lot more comfortable. And the bottom section houses the well-known ADR recording controls. To maintain overview, Nuendo offers options to view and edit marker attributes. You can configure marker attributes to be displayed on the marker track. For example, you can have the markers show the character name and dialogue. You can view up to 2 selectable marker attributes directly in the info line. All the markers for an ADR session in Nuendo can easily be prepared in a CSV document. Then you can import the markers from the CSV file. You can assign each column's category manually if it wasn't recognized correctly. And here are the markers from the CSV file. Now all is set up, so you can run the whole ADR session from inside the marker window using the rehearse, record and review buttons. Create markers from events lets you create markers or cycle markers for all selected events in one go. Simply select one or a whole bunch of audio events and apply the Create Markers from Events command from the project menu or by key command. Choose to create position or cycle markers. Select the target marker track. Have adjacent events merged into one marker. And map parameters like event name, track name or BWF metadata extracted from the audio events to the created marker attributes. Multiple position or cycle markers will be created, matching the exact position of the source events and enriched with pre-selectable attributes extracted from the source events. Export the cycle markers as CSV. To fill in dialog for ADR. Then import the edited CSV back in Nuendo with record-ready ADR markers on separate marker tracks for each character and be all set for today's ADR recording.
Ach ja, das hätte ich ja beinahe vergessen.
Und brauchen das Geld.
Ach ja, das hätte ich ja beinahe vergessen. Ein ruhiges Plätzchen in Süditalien. Danny und Remy werden Fischer. Komm schon, mach auf.
270569.
The rehearsal sounded fine, so let's record.
270569.
Perfect. To record with a second or even more swipes in one run, just check Secondary Swipe and select all appropriate markers in the marker window.
569, Millennium 41. I'm Lieutenant Sorf, Commanding Officer of Sector 5.
If you like, finished takes are checked automatically. As you can see, the files are named perfectly clear, according to the information provided with the markers. Of course, this not only works great for ADR, but also for Foley recording. There are already a lot of predefined categories for that. And you can create your own marker categories.
270-569, Millennium 41. I'm Lieutenant Sorf, Commanding Officer of Sector 5.
ADR API enables external programs such as Taker systems or dialog script editors to interact with Nuendo's Marker-System using a lightweight network protocol. Here I'm using EdiCue from Sounds in Sync in version 4. It integrates seamlessly with Nuendo through the new ADR API. It's a versatile tool for preparing and organizing ADR recording sessions. This enables you for both sending ready-to-record cycle markers from EdiCue directly to a marker track in Nuendo, enriched with all necessary metadata, as well as capturing markers from a marker track in Nuendo back into EdiCue to create a cue sheet or for further editing. The client can run either on the same machine as Nuendo or on a different computer within the same local area network. To switch from local to remote, only a few settings need to be tweaked. TTAL or Netflix Timed Text Authoring Lineage is a proprietary language dubbing workflow script format. TTAL files can be imported. You can map the incoming TTAL data event text and event transcription text to the Nuendo marker attributes dialog and dialog translation 1 or 2. Takes, aka cues or events, will be imported as cycle markers on a marker track named TTAL events. Also, Nuendo's ADR markers can be exported as TTAL files. ADR cycle markers of Nuendo will be transformed to TTAL data events for Netflix authoring toolchain workflows. The Find Silence function lets you gate and split selected audio events based on their levels with just a few clicks. You can define separate thresholds for opening and closing the gate, set minimum and maximum opening and closing times, and add pre- and post-roll times. You can choose to adjust the parameters for each selected audio event separately or apply one setting to all. AI-powered algorithms for dialogue detection reliably detect spoken dialogue regardless of the presence of background noise. Instead of detecting silence based on levels only, edit decisions will be made depending on the existence or absence of dialogue. The Audition tool lets you easily preview each suggested section. Just click and hold on any of the slices to immediately start playback. With mute gaps, you can decide if sections outside the slices should play back normally or muted. When using the strip silence function, you now can choose to automatically set fades for the pre- and post-roll ranges. For an even faster workflow, Detect Silence with Current Settings lets you immediately apply the last used settings via the audio menu or by key command. physics, sound is a vibration that typically propagates as an audible wave of pressure through a transmission medium such as gas, liquid or solid. You just heard the bad production sound and the corresponding ADR simultaneously. With Nuendo's audio alignment function, you can easily match the timing of 2 or more audio events in no time. Simply add the reference event and the target event or events, adjust the settings and click on Align Audio. This is a huge time saver in ADR when replacing bad with perfectly lip-sync takes. In physics, sound is a vibration that typically propagates as an audible wave of pressure through a transmission medium such as gas, liquid or solid. In a dialog editing workflow, it is often necessary to align several lavalier mic recordings to a boom mic reference track. This can be achieved in one go. You can use multiple reference clips to apply their timing to the corresponding set of production sound clips in a non-destructive process. Nuendo supports the ARA interface from Ceremony for seamless integration of Melodyne, Steinberg's Spectra layers and other ARA-compatible tools. ARA plugins are tightly linked to its audio event and thus follows if the event is moved. With Spectra layers as an ARA plugin, for example, you can deal with audio restoration directly in Nuendo. Any edit is non-destructive and fully reversible. Also possible to view and edit several audio events with applied ARA plugins simultaneously, all color-coded for perfect clarity. When recording with several mics simultaneously, phase shifts may happen, especially on set with moving mics and varying distances. Nuendo's ARA interface perfectly integrates Auto-Align Post 2 by Sound Radix. Auto-Align Post 2 can be applied directly to events or on track level. For this I created 2 new audio tracks. Now simply drag and drop the events that need to be aligned on these tracks and set a reference.
Jungs, ihr müsst das verstehen. Jungs, ihr müsst das verstehen.
You can further fine-tune the processing by selecting dynamic or static phase and spectral or polarity. Besides applying ARA extensions directly to audio events, they can also be applied to a whole audio track, letting you conveniently edit all events within that track. In the Inspector main section of an audio track, you'll find a menu box. Here you can insert an installed ARA extension. On the audio track header, a small ARA symbol appears to indicate that the audio track contains an ARA extension. As soon as the extension is loaded, all events on that track are now ARA-enabled events. This means that double-clicking the event will open the extension editor instead of the internal sample editor. Other audio events that are dragged onto an ARA-enabled track are added to the extension automatically. Instead of using bound selection to render your extension edits to a new audio file, you can also use the Make Extension Permanent function. The advantage is that the edits will be applied non-destructively to the original clip. This allows you to still have access to sections of the clip beyond the event boundaries. With Nuendo's Loudness Track, you can measure and write a short-term loudness curve and track true peak overs for the whole program or specific sections. So you can easily check for the loudest sections and adjust if necessary. This can be done either in real time or offline. Additionally, you can normalize your mix to a specific loudness and true peak level in the audio export window. With Nuendo's direct offline processing, you can normalize selected events to an integrated loudness level. The Meters tab in the control room also provides loudness measurement in loudness units full scale and loudness units to whatever target specs you may need. The Netflix Loudness Meter. This module provides a dialog-gated loudness measurement that uses the Dolby Dialog Intelligence algorithm and shows the loudness of your audio in loudness units, short LU, or loudness units referenced to full scale, short LUFS. The dialog value allows you to assess the percentage of speech-based sequences within the audio. The meter shows true peak levels, integrated loudness. This is the average loudness value that is measured over the whole audio range. Short-term loudness. This gives information about the loudest audio passages. Momentary maximum. Shows the maximum value of all momentary loudness values. Dynamic range. The loudness range reports the ratio between the loudest and the quietest non-silent sections. Dialog. Shows the overall percentage of speech that is detected in a measured range. The speaker icon indicates that speech is detected at the current cursor position during playback. If at least 15% of speech is detected, a dialog-gated measurement is used for the visualization. In the settings, you can switch the measurement units between LU and LUFS and set the tolerance and reference levels. The Intelligibility Meter visualizes, well, the intelligibility of spoken word within a mix. The rhombus turns white if spoken word is detected and its position indicates the current intelligibility. The settings provide the following options. Smooth out the movement of the meter's rhombus. Toggle the language of the speech recognition model between English and German. Option to adapt the intelligibility algorithm to the needs of hearing-impaired people. An option to adapt the intelligibility algorithm to audio with voice over voice. For example, dubbing over original speech in the background. And a sensitivity control to adjust the hold and pause detection times. The intelligibility module automatically adapts to horizontal or vertical mode. If you directly want to export a newly designed sound or sounds without rendering it to a new audio track with render in place or preparing it for a normal audio export, then export selected events is what you're looking for. Just select the events, decide how they should be mixed together and at which point of the signal path it should be picked up, set up a naming scheme and click on Export. Nuendo's audio export window provides some advanced options for rendering tracks, groups or your whole mix. With the track search, you'll find the tracks you want to export in no time, even in very large sessions. With multiple, you can export several tracks in one run. For example, the 5.1 mix and all the 5.1 stems. And this can be done for only the range between the locators or all checked cycle markers at once. In the file format options, you can mix down to mono, render the left and right channels only, or create single files for each channel. Depending on the selected file format, you get different file type settings. And of course, you can do a real-time export and directly re-import rendered files to a new session or to new tracks in the same session for further processing. Especially when performing a multi-track and/or cycle marker export, the naming scheme option will come in very handy. Extremely powerful is its possibility to export and import markers as a CSV file. With a little workaround, you can even bring markers saved in BWF WAV files or markers from Adobe Premiere into Nuendo. Import the markers from the CSV file. You can assign each column's category manually if it wasn't recognized correctly. And here are the markers from the CSV file. Nuendo's video export lets you quickly render the film that you're working on, or just a specific section of it, including the audio of a track, group or master output. So you can send it to a client for review or test it in different environments.